Hey, and welcome to Right Hand Drive Guys, episode 23. I'm Bobby. This is Aaron.
Yo, yo.
And today we're going to do a little IA summer meet recap and just kind of, tell you what it was all about, right?
Right, yeah.
So we'll kind of do it like Aaron obviously, unfortunately, didn't get to go,
Nope.
but he is a good sport about it and is here to talk about how it went down, and then we'll look forward to next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, basically we had decided to do this. I couldn't bring down the car
Right.
because that was like, I would add on you made that trip plenty of times. How far would that be a drive?
Yeah, that would be like a 19-hour drive at
19.
least,
Without
given no
many
problems.
stops or
Right.
anything. That's not so.
So it's literally, 2 days if you take it slow and get some
Yeah.
rest, but you can make it in a day if you want.
Right. I mean, you
But
definitely
no one
could.
wants to do that.
No. So, and if you're towing a car, especially one you care about, you're not trying to be sleepy at the wheel or nothing like that.
Right.
It's definitely a day and a half for sure. So, that's 3 to 4 days. And, with the business that we have, I can't really be adding all this time on just to drive a car down.
Yeah, it would have turned a weekend trip into a literal week
Yeah.
thing. So
Can't do that.
it's kind of hard to do. So
right now. In the future, we'll be able to plan maybe a little better and, just kind of get both of our cars down there and really show out for the Tennessee region.
Yeah. Hoping to one day.
Yeah.
Soon enough. 'Cause being from there, it would be awesome to take my car that I haven't had there down and, just hang out with the homies again and see everyone.
Yeah, for sure. So, so with that, I couldn't drive. So, but I really wanted to have the opportunity to interview a few of our friends and then a few new people and just kind of spread the word about what we're doing here. Hopefully a few of the people listening to this I did meet and we did kind of connect in the way that you came and listened. That's dope.
Right.
That was kind of, even if it's just 5 people, that was kind of the point, just to kind of get ourselves out there, which I think that we did.
Yeah.
So so I had to figure out how to logistically do this and make it the most efficient.
Right.
Because again, time being away, I just was in Florida for my birthday, so taking some more time was a little hairy, but I made it work.
Yeah, absolutely you did. I mean, and plus not only getting down there, but getting all the podcast stuff down there, the whole booth set up.
Yeah.
How did you do all that?
So shout out to Sean Charles with Wash and Glow Auto Spa. That's a homie down there, as you know, Sean. And he's come up here and spent some time with us. But he had me ship everything to him, so all the promo stuff, I shipped down a box with anything I would need, from extension cords to, RGB floodlights to, get a little accent lighting and stuff. I shipped everything down.
Yeah, the booth looks good. Look sick.
For flying down, because I flew in Friday morning, and load in for the event was 12 to 3. Vendors had to be in there.
Yeah.
And so I got in. I went straight to I went to Walmart and got the folding table and chairs. Went to Sean's, grabbed all of the packages with all the promo and the spare stuff, and then headed to, I think I grabbed Chick-fil-A too.
Oh yeah, I had to do that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I did. Yeah, so
nothing like Chick-fil-A
in
in the South.
Yeah, so I did love it, so then I headed straight to the Super Speedway because that's what I came for, and I was excited to be able to just see how everything had progressed because it's been so long since I was able to go there.
What, like 11 years? Something like that?
Yeah, definitely 12? Something like that. Yeah, 10 at the very least, for sure.
Yeah.
And so I was just pumped to see how everything had progressed, to, get everything set up and just see how it was all going to fit.
Yeah.
But yes, shipped everything down. And I had all of the podcast metal stuff, all of like the stands and everything in my carry-on.
Yeah, that's not bad then.
Yeah, I made it.
Yeah. You made it work pretty well. I mean,
yeah.
So how was it setting up down there in that Tennessee weather, midday, middle of July?
Yeah. And what was crazy is, because I lived in Tennessee. That's obviously how I met Aaron. If you listen to any of the earlier podcasts, I met him there. And so I knew what I was getting into, but I was deceived by the weather app saying that it was only 85. So 85. I'm looking at the forecast on the plane and stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be nothing. It's only 85. Yo, come on. It was 85 in Maine the other day.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
right.
no. Like you said, setting up was just because it was 1:00. I got there by 1:15, and yes, I was pouring in sweat, pouring sweat because the humidity was just so high. It was just
it's insane.
Yeah, and I wasn't even in the direct sun, and I was beat. But I mean, I got it all set up with plenty of time, and I had sent down a few signs that I put up around the venue to direct them to the booth and stuff, just little stuff. So I got all that put out on the fences by the drift track and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
That's cool. So once you were set up and everything, what was the flow like for the cars coming in and whatnot for the opening day?
So since it was on a Friday, and at 4 p.m., the gallery cars could come in. So all of the cars that applied and were approved for the gallery, the IA gallery, which they didn't used to have. So that was kind of new for me. I had seen it posted in the years past, but I had never seen the way they laid it out, which was cool because you had the garages where all of the vendors were set up, and then outside of that was the gallery. So that was the main area. Obviously, if you weren't watching some sort of racing, you were probably in that area because the food trucks were also kind of connected to that.
Right. So the gallery is the prime cars,
all
prime
of the sick whips for sure.
Yeah.
Not to say that there weren't some sick whips outside of that, because there was. They just maybe either didn't apply, didn't know about it, whatever.
Right.
Didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, Friday was definitely sweet, because there was different cars there. Obviously, me being a Skyline fan, there was a V-Spec 2 and an M-Spec NER on Friday. So, and then a few others also. But
and the M-Spec NER, that was the Millennium Jade one, right?
Yeah,
which
the guy
adds another level of rare to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Wild.
And yeah, he was a cool guy, and he was inside the garage in front of the IA booth, feature him in this white Supra.
Yeah, which that Supra, that dude's been in the scene for a while as well. His name was Milan.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they were all cool. They were right out there, and so, but the volume of people was definitely, it felt a little lower because people obviously were at work, were traveling in, whatever it may be. But it was, for a second, I was like, dang, I thought this was going to be bigger.
Yeah.
But
that's understandable, especially with a 2-day event. It's kind of.
Yeah, for sure. Right. But I was, I mean, it was busy. Don't get me wrong. Up and down that aisle in between the vendors was packed, and there was, the parking lots were full.
Right.
But the last one that we went to in Nashville.
Yeah.
Parking went outside of the
it was insane.
But they also didn't expect that, and it was a different setup. I think on Saturday night there was definitely a lot of people.
Right.
I mean, half the track was full with just cars parked. Every spare inch of grass or parking was taken up in the whole place on Saturday, and they had to stop allowing cars to come in once the track got full.
Right.
They had to stop allowing people to attend.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is wild. And I mean, maybe they had to park outside of it and walk in, but they wouldn't allow any more cars. And that was at 9:15. So 4 hours after the gates opened, there was still cars lined up to come in.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people, a lot of cars.
It was definitely wild, So
did they have the drifting and like the time attack stuff on both nights?
Yeah, they definitely did racing on both nights. I really couldn't tell you exactly what, because I'm at the booth.
Right.
I definitely had more free time than I expected because I was able to, in between recording, sometimes like put everything away and like leave the stickers and the cards out and go check some stuff out, because I needed to be able to talk about this too.
Right.
So, but yeah, there was definitely like 4 hours ish of like racing, like, and then they would have like a 30-minute break in between the kinds or something, So, but there was definitely a lot of drifting, a lot of roll racing, drag racing. Like you could hear it like the whole time. Like
right.
it was like,
it's like an echo chamber inside there, right?
Yeah,
like
especially when they were doing the drags, because it was on that side, like right there. So like you could hear it and hear them, So, but they were definitely doing all that, and they had the high performance driving experience. And that was like sweet that like, people were coming in and getting to, kind of experience all that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people probably do that usually wouldn't go to an HPD day or wouldn't go to a drift day, but since they're at Import Alliance, they're at this car meet thing, like it's offered, why not? Like, so that's pretty cool that they're doing that, kind of exposing other parts of the community.
Yeah, for sure. And
bringing new people in.
Yeah, and just keeping it moving. And like man, like I tell you, like I love like venues like lit up like that. Like I love Nashville Super Speedway with all the lights on it.
It's crazy
so sick, dude. It is just this like huge spectacle. It's just so sick, like I love arenas and things like that. So, when I was like leaving after the first night and the last night after I had packed up, but when I was leaving, I'm just like going super slow and just like looking at it like as I'm going away, because it's just so crazy, like huge. And so
in the middle of nowhere, and it like really sticks out if you haven't been before. It's just like it's flat ground everywhere.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's just like this huge super speedway.
Like, but they did build like an Amazon behind it.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, and like the trucks are backed up to the like wall, like the fence, the curled fence. They're like all the trucks are like backed up against. I'm like, dude, what a good advertising.
Yeah, seriously.
They didn't have to pay. I'm like, dang. But no, I mean, things have changed around there for sure.
Yeah,
like, because have you been to the Speedway in the 10 years?
Yeah, I've been a few times, but whenever I was going, it was before they kind of revamped it, and I think Nissan was renting out a bunch of it, so there was a bunch of new, unsold Nissan cars just like using the lots.
Yeah.
And it seemed like there was some other company that was leasing a big part of it and, using it for storage.
Yeah. I mean, so they have built some stuff around there. Which,
yeah, I can imagine, because it's right off of a main interstate.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm like, dang, all right, cool. Because like last time I remember going, I must have went the back way, because it was all back roads, and I'm like, holy moly, they got to meet out here. And then it ended up being insane, know? So yeah, I mean, it was like a good flow. It wasn't bad. I was like optimistic, and then like I said, Saturday night was really good. And it was kind of later. I didn't have to be there until like 3 on Saturday, so I had the morning to just like cruise around, check some stuff out. Squirk was gonna have a barbecue, but he had his car, which he talks about in the interview. He had his car completely apart. He, which kind of seems to be a theme. Love you, Squirk, but it seems to be a theme with him. He'll be like right down to the wire. A lot of these guys, but I mean, it's because they're putting so much effort into it. We're not talking about, he was behind just putting on a radiator cap and filling it with gas.
He's not spray painting his wheels out back. Or
right.
Nothing.
No. We're talking a full build that he has thought out for years probably,
right.
Envisioned. And so, but he got it all together, and he wasn't there Friday. He showed up Saturday.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, so I got to kind of check some stuff out, and then I head to the venue, and yeah, this time like the flow was heavy of cars rolling in. The gallery filled up super quick, with and so, Mike Zeusen.
Yeah.
So he
Mr.
had
Coop.
Mr. Coop. Yeah. Track one from back in the day. He is now a part of Exotic Autosport.
Yeah.
And so they had a booth in like a double wide booth, and they brought simulators, which was so sick.
Oh yeah, there's a dude in Nashville, I believe, or right around the outskirts. That's one of their buddies that actually makes those.
Oh really?
They're super high end.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they are. I was like, holy moly,
crazy.
Dude, the computer towers and stuff running them were like huge.
Yeah.
Like they turned those things on and the lights dimmed in the place, dude. I'm telling you, I was just like, but no, it was sick. And like, a bunch of people were loving it. Kids were loving it.
I bet.
It was a great idea to bring those, but they came hard with the cars.
Oh yeah.
They came so hard, dude. I was just like, what is going on here? Like Lamborghini models that I didn't even know existed. Like seriously,
right.
Ferraris, like just, and then they had one of the R34s over on their side, and it was just like, dang, all right. Like there was like 12, 15 exotics for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. And pretty wild to think that dude, came from Honda Tech essentially.
Yeah,
and
just like
doing,
one of the boys. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, no, and he's cool, and Chase was there. Chase has like this really cool like booth that like folds open.
Yeah.
He's
he always
obviously
has cool shit.
yeah, and he had the EK that he bought from Richie there.
Yeah,
and he had his E36 or whatever those
an E36 drift
are.
car.
Yeah, so and that was super clean. I know he just unveiled that a while ago, and so it was really cool because Saturday like brought everybody out, like everybody came out, like just about. I was really bummed that Keenan didn't make it because they were telling me that he was coming, and I was like super excited. I was like, oh, enough with the rest of y'all. Where's Keenan at?
Right.
And no, he didn't come, but no, it was cool to see all of the dudes because I spent a lot of time with like those PGK guys and then like the other people around them, so all of them coming out was definitely sweet, and they brought a lot of nice cars, with them, like cars that are almost still the same as they were.
That's what I was about to say. So out of all those dudes, like how many of them have their, OG car from back in 2009, 2010, 2012, whatever it might be, from like 10 years ago? How many of them still have their original cars?
Like 5 or 6. Like it was crazy. Sick. It was like I was back at IA 09, like these three dudes with their Integra Type Rs.
Right.
Same one. Well, 4. But like, yeah, it was just like crazy. Dude with his EG hatch. Like, yeah, the Honda dudes, like they all had their same cars.
Right.
Like,
were they pretty much the same? Or like,
like
pretty much the same except K-swap now instead of a B, or like?
Yeah, kind of, but some not.
Right,
like it was really cool to see, and everybody like, yeah, it was like back in the day kind of. So I think
that's dope.
In that regard, I think that this will continue with those guys like participation, not just PGK, but like there was a lot of old heads there, like the dude you said with the drop top Sentra.
Oh yeah, Chris Roden, he had this shop called Precision Motoring, or it's also called Auto House, I believe, or he was involved with that at least. But yeah, that drop top Altima, dude, that thing was like classic back in the day.
Oh yeah, still
around Antioch, dude. Like, yeah, and it's clean.
Yeah, it's like, awesome. Like I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's like a mid-90s Altima, but like, dude, it's a white on white, got the drop top, and like all the interiors redone.
And it represents like a time in the culture that like is mostly lost.
Right, for sure. Like
really,
no one's doing that to cars nowadays.
No
like
way.
That custom,
that
like
was so
lowrider
much.
type.
Yeah.
Or, mini truck, I guess. Not really lowrider, but like mini truck style, like import, I guess.
Yeah. It was cool. It stuck out to me. I didn't get a chance to take many pictures, but I took a picture of that.
Yeah, I know. When you posted it and I saw it, I was like, what? No way. Dude, it took me
in the
right
gallery.
back.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, a little sidebar, but like there was that Altima running around, and there was also another Altima that had it had an all-wheel drive swap with an SR20 out of like a Bluebird or something like that.
Yeah, front-wheel drive.
No, it was all-wheel drive.
Oh,
it was converted. Yeah, it was converted to all-wheel drive. So those dudes would roll around with each other back in the day, and it was, I don't know, kind of a cool thing to see because no one's messing with Altimas. Like,
yeah.
on,
They're like being unique in their own way, using what like they like. Yeah.
But that's cool that dude came out and showed out and like.
Yeah, and then it was cool to see Richie there, which we did an interview with him.
Right. Love that guy.
Yeah, and so and seeing him back in like the saddle, so to speak, and participating also, like, because he does, like, he's like a private guy, he more does his own thing. Which,
for sure.
Which is cool, but so to see him out, and me and him talked about it, and I think we both agreed, like, overall, we would prefer a more intimate, smaller meet that's more focused on, like, certain types of cars than, like, the big ones like IA.
Right.
But there's also, like, nothing like IA. Like, that was, like, a huge party vibe. Like, everybody, like, loving it. No issues whatsoever. No fights. No, like, it was all just, like, chill and people loving on stuff, like.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it was cool to see him come out and show out, and of course having a new Civic Type R doesn't hurt.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure there's like a bunch of dudes like that, like a bunch of dudes like Richie that kind of fell out of the scene for a while, life got in the way, whatever it might be, and now they're they have time to come out and time to work on a new car or whatever it might be. So it's kind of cool to see those dudes coming back.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Tiger. For real. Like, I hope sometime he hears this, I'm waiting for Tiger to bring that dog.
That's the only
box
cool
EP.
EP. Yeah, that's the only cool EP.
Dude, and no, besides his mom's, like the one, you know what I'm talking about?
I remember that from a while ago.
Yes, he had.
Way back.
They have a matching one. His mom has one. I believe that they still have them. I'm friends with them on Facebook.
I know he still has his car for sure.
Yeah, so I think there are some other guys like that, and I hope we do see him come out.
Right.
But yeah, I think overall, like, the event was well put together for their first night event. I think, and if Don listens, like, this is all just constructive from my point of view. I'm not in the back office of IA. I don't know how to run events like this.
Right.
I think, in my opinion, that if they had another DJ, because, like, the way that they had the DJ, that's a big place.
Yeah, that's huge.
Nashville Super Speedway.
Yeah, it's like a 2.5 mile oval or whatever.
Like,
so, like,
without using the PA system at the Super Speedway, you can't get music. Right. You can't get it even, like, and with these cars running and stuff, and I get it, like, it's, like, loud, but like, if you could have maybe, like, it's almost like at these festivals, right? If you have, like, 2 stages, quote unquote, 3 stages, like you gotta think, dude, this is a whole entire infield,
right?
So,
but also packed with cars.
Absolutely. But, like, I would, because the DJ was kind of over by our booth, right?
Yeah.
And I'd walk out of my back little garage slot and, like, walk towards him, and I could hear him. But once I got, like, 4 or 5 more, like, booths down, like, you couldn't really, maybe to the end of the garages, maybe. But,
right.
I just think, that was probably my really, like, one thing was, like, if they could just extend that vibe that it's like over by the garages, like, out into, like, that huge parking area where, like, a lot of people end up kind of hanging out after they've looked through the garages and stuff. I just think it might help.
Well, dude, if you got one suggestion, I got one too. Mm-hmm. Even though I didn't go, but a Ferris wheel.
I mean, that, like, okay, like, right, like, I could see that. That would be dope in the middle, like the Jungle Boys did at Chalice. Like, you remember what I'm talking about? Yeah, like that.
Or, like, dude, I mean, in Japan, all those Ferris wheels we saw, there's a bunch of those at, like, Suzuka and, like, a bunch of the tracks as well. You get it, like, a a cool viewpoint of the cars going around the track.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah, that would be sick. And I also think I have no idea what. Sorry, we're not trying to go through how could this be better, but and I'm sure all this stuff went through their head. But fireworks 100%. On Saturday night would be dope too over the track. Like I don't know what Tennessee's laws are like that, but that would be dope.
Yeah.
But just little things, right? Overall, like there's zero complaints.
Yeah.
The food was dope, right? They had like Bun's cousin come out and he does his like the Walkman or something, and he does like those Vietnamese hot dogs or whatever, like Bao Beyond does, like, and then they had like brisket quesadillas, and then there was like Friday night there was like 5 vendors, but on Saturday night there was like 8, and so, but dude, at one point there was lines at all of them except for this one that was like their setup was kind of weird. They wanted you to walk in the back of their trailer, and like it was kind of weird. But
serving sandwiches on wheat bread and stuff.
Well, but at the end of the night, they're the only ones that have anything left because everybody else sold out. And I was in the booth talking and doing these interviews, so I come out and all of the brisket quesadillas are sold out. Everything, all that's left is. But their sandwich ended up being awesome, and people probably just slept on them because it was just not. The delivery wasn't quite as clean as the other places. But there was a sweet coffee truck, like a bunch of cool stuff.
Decent.
In that sense. And I mean, it's Nashville Super Speedway. Like the facilities obviously are awesome. Bathrooms were super clean and mint. Like,
yeah, it's just no La Quinta nearby.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like I had to, and so okay. So just so that I make sure that I cover like how things went. So I interviewed Adam, and then I interviewed Chance, and I interviewed Squirk, and I interviewed Richie. So we got 4 interviews that we're gonna put out over the next few weeks, in which we'll kind of do like an intro outro with, so that we can kind of explain, what's going on and how we know these people and some of their background. But so I did these interviews and I talked to a bunch of people and, spread the word, and, cars were there like late, like Friday night, like people kind of trickled out a little earlier than I expected, because it went till 11, and like Friday night by like 10:30, a lot of people had left, like, but this night people were staying, like it ended at 11, but like people were just still there. So like, and everybody gets to talking and like whatever else is going on, right? So but then I had to tear down the booth, and at this point, right, like I had shipped all this stuff to Sean. I have brought down my carry-on, and one of the things I had shipped to Sean, because I ordered it and it was drop shipped, was a 16 foot wide by 10 foot tall banner. Yeah. Huge.
That is pretty big.
Huge. Like when I showed up at his shop, like, cause these come in these huge like cardboard tubes. Yeah. This cardboard tube was like all like unspiraled because it was so big and flopping around inside there. So I had to like make the choice, like, I know everybody like loves the podcast, which is sweet, but I know that they don't want a 10 foot by 16 foot banner in their shop or something, I had to, luckily I like get a great deal on these things, so I wasn't out a lot, but I had to throw that away because there was no way that I was shipping it back. Like it was literally like 10 feet long, like to ship, so
shove it in your carry-on.
Yeah. So, but then I had to pack everything else up and get it all ready for UPS. Because, and by this time it's like 1:30 in the morning, because like everybody's still at the track.
Oh, right.
Like everybody's still there. Not everybody, but like
a lot of people.
Yeah. Like I don't think Chance, the dude in the red 240, I don't think he left till mad late. Like, he was there after me. I was looking for him and like I couldn't find him, so I just had to leave without saying bye. So bye, Chance. But so anyways, it's like 1 a.m., and so the closest hotel I could find that wasn't booked was in Mount Juliet. Yeah. And so that was 20 or so minutes away. And so I got to go there. I got to get the stuff out of my hotel room. I got to have everything ready to go because I got to wake up at 6 to go bring my UPS packages to Sean's because there's no UPS stores open at 6 a.m.
Right.
You know, and so I have a rental, so I have to like get the rental fueled up. So Sean's from where I was 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it was another 40 minutes up to Nashville, B&A or whatever.
Yeah.
So like I'm like rushing, to get on the plane, like because there's no way I'm missing this plane.
Right.
And so, it was quite like the challenge to just make all that happen, for those 2 nights. But I definitely feel good about it. Like seeing everybody was awesome, of course, you know, and shout out to everybody down there that had already been listening to us. That's like super legit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like when, some of these guys come up to me and they said, oh yeah, I've been listening to you for, weeks or whatever, or, oh yeah, I listened to you before I go to bed. I'm like, holy moly, dude. Like that's it, whatever. Hey, no judgment. Yo, do your thing, bro. But I'm just saying that's like super cool because we're doing this solely just to put info out there and kind of get to spend time on what we really enjoy.
Yeah.
And this is a great platform for it. So yeah, we're going to have the interviews. We'll have those that we'll kind of do over these next few weeks, which will give us some time to come up with some fresh content and kind of, we have a little, studio area that we're building out so that we can start doing video as well as the audio.
Right.
So you can see our goofy faces.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so that we can also do other things like rare part finds and reviews on things and, just have more options overall, So yeah, look for the next episode, but overall I definitely dope.
Yeah.
Don doing a great job. I didn't get to like really catch up with Don as much as I wanted.
Yeah.
I did.
Busy
but
guy, I'm sure.
He is. Yeah, he's like zing, 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 bebopping around there. But like, they work hard to put that on. So he should, he has relationships with so many of these guys.
Yeah, it's insane.
From over the years, So it was cool to see a lot of people catching up. It felt like, it was a full reunion type thing. Except for you were not there. Yeah, but you will be there. We're gonna make it next year.
Yeah,
Both cars. I'm telling you. No, both cars. We're bringing them down there. Hopefully, Don hooks us up with a booth again.
Yeah,
and we'll just do this all over again. I think being a part of it is part of our destiny with this.
Yeah, I'll run it.
Word. All right. So for today, I'm Bobby. This is Aaron.
See ya.
Peace.